So real quick, like I said, please use those the Q&A. Use the chat. We're happy to help. Andrew, I'll let you get it started, and then do an intro for Greg, and let's get rolling.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I know myself, PJ, and Greg have kind of been planning this for the last few months, probably since the beginning of the year. And we just really wanted to have a kind of a webinar here for shop owners throughout the country and throughout the North America to really just kind of understand kind of what's going on in the state of the industry and how shops are kind of, I'll just say they're revolutionizing, and they are starting to use different platforms to really help the customer with the customer journey. And that's what we're going to talk about today, about the Tekmetric platform as well as the Mechanic Advisor platform. And that's totally okay. Not everyone on this call is using Tekmetric or Mechanic Advisor. Some might be using one or the others. It's totally all right. This is going to be just kind of a discussion of making sure that you are, keeping your customers in mind and really using what's out there for you, because we know that it is kind of overwhelming at times of how many options there are for everyone. So we want kind of Greg and PJ, and with their expertise, are going to kind of cut through some of that noise and just kind of let you know what you should be focusing on and how you could really, get those customers into the door and have them coming back. So we're going to kick it off with Greg will do a quick intro, and then we'll have PJ do a quick intro, and then PJ will roll right into his little presentation, then Greg. And as PJ mentioned, please ask questions in the little Q&A button at the bottom of the webinar, and I might pepper those in throughout as they're speaking, or we will do a Q&A at the end as well. But take it away, Greg.
Yeah, so I think me and Andrew have talked about this before. Mechanic Advisors kind of had an identity crisis with being three companies over the last 10 years. We were founded originally as a directory. So when you think of Mechanic Advisor, think maybe like TripAdvisor. So that's really what the original founders wanted Mechanic Advisor to be. And then as we built the directory, we started, really going out talking to repair shops. And luckily, from a lot of the feedback that we got from repair shops was, okay, you guys are starting to build kind of what's a CRM now. We don't really like what's in the marketplace today. I think you guys should go that direction. So a lot of the trusted shops that we worked with kind of helped us basically make that switch in 2017. So with that, I worked directly with the founders in a couple of shops locally here in Boston to really figure out exactly what we should build for a CRM, what features. A lot of the CRMs didn't really do a lot of texting. A lot of them were pretty hard to use for just building simple templates, stuff like that. So a lot of the feedback we got built the product that we have today. So when you do go to mechanicadvisor.com, there's a lot of different products there, but really our bread and butter is the CRM portion of it. And then luckily, at the time we built our cloud platform, Tekmetric did as well. So we were able to meet at a conference, and then from that, our relationship just kind of grew from there with the integration, making it a lot tighter. And again, just listening from customers and feedback as to what we should build for a product. About myself, before Mechanic Advisor, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, just basically banging on doors at doctors' offices, getting in front of doctors. And then luckily, the founder of Mechanic Advisor was a friend of mine, and he was like, you want to stop talking to doctors and start talking to mechanics? So at the time I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. So basically tested it out. And then I came on in 2011 as their first hire. And like I said before, it was really just me going out, learning a lot about the shop, firsthand by actually going into a shop and then just seeing day to day what the operations look like. So a lot of that feedback, a lot of talking to mechanics has built the product today. And then luckily, Andrew, who's on the call, we hired him probably about 2 years back, and he's really helped us with product marketing as well as the customer success side of things. So yeah, then I'll hand it off to PJ.
Did we all meet at was it at the ASTE conference in 2019 when you guys built the cloud product?
Yep, ASTE, Trish is on this call. Yeah, we were playing bags at the bar or the restaurant right across the street from the hotel.
That's funny.
And I was like,
Trisha.
Who's this tall guy, PJ?
That question gets asked at a lot of conferences. So, Tricia, this is all because of you. Thank you. So I forgot about that. Real quick, guys, you don't have to read all of this. My name is PJ. I'm the Direct Business Development here at Tekmetric. So we are just a fully cloud-based shop management software system. We did not release our product until January of 2019. As far as we know, we are the fastest growing shop management software system. That's come from our integration partners that are asking us, are you guys actually adding this many shops this fast? And we are. As far as we know, I think we are the largest cloud-based shop management software system. But again, we compete with ourselves each and every day, trying to make our software better, make the product better. And it is truly a democratic process. We do nothing but ask our shop owners what we could do better and what could be built next. And that's exactly how we release it. Brandon just posted in the Q&A. He's ready for the new labor guide. So for those of you that don't know, we've put out some press releases. It just came out in Ratchet and Wrench today. And there's some ads running on social media. But tomorrow morning, we are releasing our brand new Tekmetric 3.0, which is going to include a completely new labor guide in Tekmetric. So think about it like if, I don't know, Identifix and All Data got together and had a baby and then it was free. You didn't have to pay for it. That's what we're going for. Our system's always been about shop feedback. And so we're going to add in features to allow that to be built by those shop owners. If you see inconsistencies and issues with it, then it's our data. We can help you update it. So thank you, Brandon, for that. I do appreciate that. And so a couple of interesting facts about Tekmetric is that it was founded and is owned by a shop owner. Sunil is the CEO and co-founder. He started it and had his shop from 2007 to 2019, if I remember correctly, and then sold it to his lead mechanic, his lead technician. So that he could focus his time fully on Tekmetric. My first real job was literally at a quick lube. I was working in the oil pits, changing oil on 18-wheelers and cars. My last auto-related job was I was a general manager of a Ford dealership. So that's and I've done everything between changing oil on cars all the way up to running an auto dealership. Fun fact about me is I used to live in Belize. Something kind of weird. I lived on an island down there called Ambergris Key and had a little restaurant on a beach. I have been in sales for 20 years. I've either been in sales, business development, or owned my own business for the last 20 years. So what we do here is I like to do these little presentations and training webinars for us to be able to just impart knowledge. I've got 20 years of experience that is really kind of comes as common sense to me at this point, but it's not. We're all in a sales position. We're all in a sales job each and every day, and the idea is to present that information out to customers in the most attractive way. Darren asked a question, where are you hosting the data? Tekmetric does use AWS. Let me know if that, helps you. I'm pretty sure Azure, AWS, and countless other companies are plenty reliable. AWS is used by some of the largest companies in the world. So, just
to add to that, we're on Azure today, but we are moving to AWS towards the end of the year. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of companies making that move too, Greg. I don't really know enough about it, or as to why, but I've heard a lot of companies recently making that move. Thinking about technology, for me, the easiest way that I can put it into perspective for everyone is to think about Netflix and Blockbuster. Everybody knows there's, Blockbuster essentially went away. There's one Blockbuster left in the country. I think it's in Oregon. But Netflix turned into a verb, right? What are you going to do tonight? I'm going to Netflix, right? How are you going to get to the party? I'm going to Uber. Okay. I need to look something up. How are you going to do it? I'm going to Google it. At the point in time where Netflix became a verb, that's when you knew that they made it. And they did so by embracing technology, right? They took something, they saw what was coming down the pipeline. They saw that the technology was at their fingertips. And they knew that everybody was going to move away from walking into a store, sifting through DVDs, hoping they were there, even VHSs. And Blockbuster had the same idea, and the board of directors at Blockbuster actually clung to the old way of doing things. Well, this is the way we've always done it. 12% of their revenue actually came from late fees, and lo and behold, look where they are. gone. They're completely gone. And Netflix is now a verb. That's when you know you've really made it. And so I use this as a very simple example. And I use a lot of brands, things that we're all very, very familiar with, to bring this into, just real terms of what actually happens when we don't utilize technology to help our business. So same thing with Amazon, right? This is a mall before COVID, right? And they've essentially become relatively irrelevant in the industry now. A lot of retail stores are essentially just remote warehouses, and it's because Amazon started out. They said, Jeff Bezos says, I want to sell books. And now you can buy a house. I can literally log on there and I could buy a house. And I could have it delivered, and everything to furnish the house and everything that the house needs, I can also order it from Amazon. So it went from books to this in a very short amount of time because they embraced that technology. They saw what customers wanted and provided it via technology. So for us, at Tekmetric and just in general in shop owners, what I see, the ones that I see with a really high average repair order, high customer satisfaction ratings, which I'll let Greg talk about that part of it. With Tekmetric, we're always talking about what do you do when the customer is there in your business? How do we help that customer? How do we help that customer in the shop, right? Maximize their experience, the workflow management, making sure that they've had as good of experience as possible. Mechanic Advisor is going to help you after they've left or if they haven't come back in a while, right? We're not trying to get into the car count business. We're over here trying to help you guys in the ARO business, right? If you could see the same number of cars today that you've always seen, but make more per car, wouldn't you want to do that, right? Everyone would say yes. Dial that in, then let's get more cars coming in as well, right? It's gravy on top. So for us, I've always said we need to focus on that frictionless customer experience, right? So you think about, if you ever heard anybody walk into Starbucks and say, I don't know, let me get a mocha frappa, whatever it is, and it's $4.50. And do you ever hear somebody go, well, yeah, but the 7-Eleven down the street is 47 cents. You're 10 times as much. Why would anybody bring that up, right? Didn't matter because your experience is met. It's fast. It tastes the same each and every time. I can breeze through the drive-thru. I can grab a little bit of breakfast and I'm on my way. Nobody actually complains about it. How many times does that happen though, where you're in your repair shop, you give a quote or somebody asks you for a labor rate? Well, the guy down the street is this much. That doesn't happen in Starbucks. Why does it happen in our industry? And so for me, I like to focus on the experience, right? People don't really value cars as much the way they used to. And so for us, it's like, it's a tool. I just need this thing fixed that gets me to and from work, gets my family trips done. And how do we do that? So companies like, I have Starbucks up here, Shake Shack, awesome burger, costs a whole lot more than McDonald's or Burger King or fill in the blank, but I'm totally happy to pay for it because I'm getting a quality product. Same thing with companies like Chipotle. I'm in and out, get my burrito, and I'm on my way. So how do we take something that shop owners, vehicle owners do not know much about and get them excited about it and get them to say yes? And so in my personal opinion, it boils down to what is your product? What are you selling? And if you're selling vehicle repair services, so is every other repair shop, right? How do you maximize that experience and utilize the digital assets that you have available to you? And I'm not even necessarily saying with Tekmetric. I'm saying there are tons of companies out there that have resources. Even in Tekmetric, we see a lot of our users who just, don't necessarily use every single feature in there where you could make that customer's experience better. And so, in my opinion, we're selling peace of mind. People don't know how to fix their cars. They don't know how to diagnose them, and they don't have the time to work on them. So they bring it to your shop. So how do we get that to go into that customer's hands and the customer feels like they just looked over my car. It is safe. It is reliable. I could take it anywhere in the country. So that being said, I have a question that I want to ask. I want to know, real quick, you guys should see a poll on your screen right now. I'm going to leave that up for about 15 to 20 seconds. How many of your shops are utilizing today digital vehicle inspections in your repair shop? I'm going to leave that up there 15, 20 seconds. And just tell us, and it's okay, there's no wrong answer. Statistically across the nation, we have found actually that about 30 to 35% by industry standards are utilizing digital vehicle inspections, which is crazy. You know, the other 60, 70% are not. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We have got 18, 19 votes, 20 votes coming in, 3, 2, 1, and we will end that. So You guys are well above national average. We have got 80% are utilizing digital vehicle inspection. That is awesome. Now I have one more question that follows up out of that, and that is out of sheer curiosity. Let's do this one. How often are you using it? This is an interesting one for me because this is something where we see a lot of shops, and this is just your best guesstimate, everybody, please. This is your best guesstimate on how often you're using it. If you do 100 ROs, 25 of them get a DVI, do 50 of them, do 30 of them. Because we see some very direct correlations in the statistics at Tekmetric where, I can only measure Tekmetric users, obviously, because that's what I have the data on. But there is actually a $106 difference in the average written repair order in Tekmetric for those that use the digital inspection 50% of the time or more. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and take a look at these results. 100%, we got 5 of them, 29% of the people who voted. 75%, that is usually where we see a lot of people falling. Generally speaking, the national average is around 40 to 50% of the time it's being used. And so for us, we do see that quite often. But the odd thing is this. For us, we always want to know how can we create that peace of mind? How can we show the customer, even if it's a brand new vehicle, even if it's got brand new tires on it, even if we just change that air filter, how do we show them that we've inspected that car each and every time? Every single time. Let's show it, right? We hear everybody say, it takes too long, etc. I'm going to give you guys some statistics that actually will show you how it doesn't take too long and how statistically it makes sense. But remember, when you're selling peace of mind, there's no more shopping you. There's no more talking about, well, Joe Bob down the street, his peace of mind costs $85 an hour, where yours is $100 an hour. I have absolutely no clue what the labor rate is at the shop where I take my vehicles to. Not because I'm a millionaire. It's because I don't care. They take good care of my car. I get the digital inspections. I get a text message when the vehicle's done, and I can text them for payment and pick it up at my convenience. They offer me a loaner. They offer to pick me up or drop me off. I really don't care what they're charging me. It's fair. I know enough about the industry that it's fair. It's not egregious. So why not? Will I share the slide deck at the end? Darren, I don't know. We are recording this, so I am going to send out the recording afterwards. I've never been asked to share the slide deck, but we may be able to do that. So I don't know. Haven't considered that. So remember, sell peace of mind, right? That's where we can meet and exceed customers' expectations. That's where we can show them what's going on with their vehicle. That's where we can give them the pictures, the videos. We can teach them what's going on with their car very quickly, very concisely, help them make a quick decision. And remember, this is not supposed to be a replacement for a good service advisor or good communication with those customers. So we've got to meet customers on their terms, right? Do not even begin to think that what Mechanic Advisor does, what Tekmetric does, or what even some of our competitors are doing is just for millennials. It's absolutely not the case, right? I mean, I'm walking around through Target, through the grocery store, and a 75-year-old lady sitting there FaceTiming with her grandkids while she's picking up, some shopping. It's not for millennials. People are accustomed to utilizing their phones, and especially in the past year, they're very accustomed to utilizing their phones and digital assets to complete transactions, right? Who hasn't ordered some food on Uber Eats or Grubhub and et cetera? I can get a text message as to when they receive it, when my order is ready, when my order is leaving and on its way. But if I spend $1,000 on my truck, I can't get that communication from a repair shop. There's no way that should be the case. I get it on a $10 meal transaction, but I can't get it on a $1,000 repair order. That transparency is what equals that trust. That transparency will create trust in those customers. But here's the pushback that repair shop owners are going to get. And you guys, if you haven't heard it yet, embrace DVI and you will hear these things, right? Embrace technology like this and you will hear these things, right? It takes longer to get new customers. Don't forget about that. It costs more to acquire new customers. It costs more to get a software that can have that has these types of digital assets. Customers, they're going to purchase less whenever you don't use this. And let me go back up to the $400 an hour labor rate. Probably nobody here has a $400 an hour labor rate. If you do, please teach me your ways. But if you don't, you probably have a labor rate that falls somewhere in the range of $100 an hour. Here's where $400 an hour labor rate comes up. Remember I told you earlier, the average repair order on Tekmetric for the shops that use digital inspection 50% of the time or more is $106 more per repair order for the repair shops that use digital vehicle inspection 50% of the time or less. So out of that poll that we just did, the shops that are using DVI or more than 50% of the time should have a average repair order. It's $106 more. I've talked to a lot of shops. They all say that a digital vehicle inspection takes about 15 minutes. So let's do some simple math. 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour. If your labor rate's $100 an hour, or if you're making $100 more per repair order, you're making $400 per hour. How do we not have enough time to do that? How do we not have enough money to do that? This right here, statistically, we track all this in Tekmetric, and we are watching that very closely to see who has success and who does not. And you guys, if you're using a digital inspection tool and it's not Tekmetric, if you're using a shop software that's not Tekmetric, perfect. Statistically speaking, we know that you'll make $106 more per repair order that you write if you're using 50%, if you're using that DVI 50% or more. So remember, that digital inspection is not a replacement. This is not a replacement for a good service advisor. Sales is absolutely a transfer of knowledge and enthusiasm, right? So those service advisors still need to convey that message properly. They still need to convey that message properly over to the customer. So let me give you an example. So Ian's got a car, and I say, Ian, hey man, we got your car in here. I know you brought it in here for an oil change and a tire rotation. When we did the tire rotation, we were able to take a look at those brakes, and we noticed your brakes are at 2 millimeters of thickness. They're supposed to be at 4 millimeters or more. I've already checked with my vendors, and we've got the parts in stock. Did you receive the pictures in the video that we just sent you? Yeah, I did, PJ. Great. Now, we can take care of that. It's going to be $129 to take care of those fronts. Would you like us to go ahead and move forward with that today? I just presented it. I didn't give Ian bad news. Hey, Ian, I know you brought it for an oil change, but, well, you need brakes, right? That's terrible. I gave him some good news. I gave him good news that I found this problem before he was actually had to find it, before it cut into his rotors, and before it's going to cost him a lot more. I utilized that technology because I took pictures, I made a video, I sent it to him while I'm on the phone with him, walked him through it, built value in it, and asked him, would he like us to take care of that today, right? And Ian, by the way, you're going to get a text message as soon as we're done with your vehicle, and it's still going to be done by 5 o'clock this afternoon, just like we promised you before. That is how you utilize technology, a little bit of sales tactics and good skills and good phone skills to get that customer to say yes, right? Smile and dial. Ian's heard me say this one too many times. So there is absolutely something to be said about smiling when you talk to people. People can hear it in your voice, right? Give them good news. People don't get excited like, yeah, I need a new transmission. This is so great. They don't, right? A new car they do, new clothes they do, new couch they do. New brakes, new transmission, ball joints. Nobody gets excited about that. That is up to those service advisors and your team to convey that in the best light possible. So smile when you talk with those customers. Use that enthusiasm. Give them the good news that we found that problem before it became a problem for them on the side of the road. And here we gotta be real. They don't all sell, right? Some people do say no. Some people just don't get it. They don't have the money. They don't have the time, whatever it may be. So they may say no. How do we follow that up? How do you track that? In our system, it's a click of a button. Customer said no to this one. It's automatically tracked. It automatically goes into a declined job inside of Tekmetric. So with that information, how do we manage it, right? So before we jump into that, Greg will talk about what do you do when a customer says no, when you didn't get that sale. So I will show you guys one last poll. Who here is currently using a CRM marketing company for automated follow-up with their customer base? I'll leave that up there for about 20 or 30 seconds. Again, no wrong answers, no wrong answers. But that helps us understand, just a little bit more on the market and what you guys see as valuable and how you handle that follow-up. We'll give it another 10 seconds here. We have gotten 20 votes so far. It's tallying up. 3, 2, Ian, you better not answer any of these, okay? I know you're not using any CRM, so. All right, I'm going to end it. All right, so here's the results. So we've got 57% are using a company to follow up. We've got 10% of them using a Mechanic Advisor, and then 29% no, we are not. Where they're following up themselves, which is awesome. If you guys can do that in-house, that is fantastic. It's a difficult thing to manage. We've got one that's not using anyone at all at the moment. So I appreciate the honesty very, very much, guys. With that being said, I'm going to let Mr. Gregg Rainville take over.
Thanks, PJ.
Absolutely.
So just to give you guys an idea of how the two platforms talk together, like I was saying earlier, being two cloud platforms, it makes it very, very easy for our systems to talk to each other. We connect through something called an API. Basically, they're plugged in together, and what Mechanic Advisor does is every 10 minutes, it's actually looking at Tekmetric and basically scanning all of our customers and their database to look for a couple things. So the big one PJ was talking about was the digital vehicle inspection. So we're scanning that digital vehicle inspection, and specifically we're looking for services that were recommended that were like high priority services. So, hey, Mr. Customer, your brakes look really, really bad. We need to get those done today. Now, a lot of times when people come in, and to PJ's point earlier, they're not expecting to pay for brakes when they come in for an oil change. So what Mechanic Advisor does is we'll actually pick that up on the Tekmetric ticket, and 30 days later, remind that customer, hey, these were some services that needed to be done on that day. They were declined, and get that customer back to the door. So that's something we're looking for specifically in Tekmetric and sending out to Tekmetric shop customers. That works very, very well. The other thing with the integration, what we're looking for are trigger keywords. So did they come in for an oil change? And then that'll start the interval for oil change reminders, maintenance reminders, brakes, tires as well. Another important part of the integration is the calendar. So we're always looking at the Tekmetric calendar to send out appointment reminders, kind of like the dentist does 24 hours before. We send out through text and email, basically reducing no-shows for the shop. So, and we do this all digitally through text and email. If I go to the next slide, you can basically see how we build that digital customer journey. So when that ticket comes over from Tekmetric to Mechanic Advisor, we're also breaking up customers into basically customer segmentation. So is it a new customer? Is it a repeat customer? If it's a new customer, we basically build out its own personal customer journey as opposed to a repeat customer. So a new customer, you probably want to treat them a little bit differently with your follow-up. So I know a few of you guys on the call aren't doing anything with follow-up through a digital platform like Mechanic Advisor. You guys might have the service writer or someone actually call the customer a couple days after, which is great. But Mechanic Advisor will actually send out a text 2 days later. You go back to the other one. Yeah, thank you. So what we do is we'll break up the two different types of customers, and for a new customer, they'll start going on a different journey. So new customer will actually get more of a welcome text 2 days after, and maybe a welcome email to the shop, maybe with some sort of offer or something like that. But it's really just checking in with the new customer, making sure everything was good at the shop. Repeat customer, it's a little bit more casual of a check-in. We really try to customize it and personalize it as if like the shop owner is literally picking up their phone and texting the customer. So and this is all stuff that we work with the shop, but you'll see new customer actually has a 90-day check-in. Repeat customer doesn't. That's really where the difference is between the new customers and repeat customers. What we're trying to do with the 90-day check-in is get in front of a customer before they might be looking at, say like a Jiffy Lube or your competitor around the corner for a job. So basically with the re-welcome, the strategy is, all right, let's send them a text, an email, letting them know, hey, we're here. We can help you out with that oil change. Maybe here's a coupon or here's a free oil change, something like that to obviously get in front of that customer so they're coming back in your door and not the competitors. What's nice is all this stuff is all customizable. This is really the format that we set up for all of our shops right out the gate, but during onboarding, we will find out tweaks to this customer journey. Because again, we try to be the marketing experts. I think, Andrew, you can agree that we've really built Mechanic Advisor where we try to have you guys lean on us for ideas. But I've had some shops that are marketing experts, And I will never take that away from a shop. They know their business better than I do. I've had shops do follow-ups year and a half out, 2 years out. I have some high-end shops where they don't want to see their customers that frequently because, people don't drive their Lamborghinis, Ferraris as often. So they just want to do a check-in at the end of the year. So what's nice is me and Andrew will have these conversations and build it out based on the customer's needs. Another big one for us for after the customer leaves or getting the customers back in the door are custom campaigns. So with email and text, we built a platform that's really simple to use. You literally just click on what type of campaign you want to do, email, text, we do postcards as well too. And then we have the templates ready to go. We are constantly updating our text templates and our email templates every 3 to 4 weeks so that they're relevant. And also we're not sending the same messages to your same text messages to your customers over and over again. We actually, Jack Getz, who's on this call, he actually helped us, I guess, with our Valentine's Day promo last month with, let's make sure your car makes it to your dinner date for Valentine's Day. So we did a text blast that was really popular. And a lot of these shops, when they do something like that, and again, we try to coach shops not to do text blasts daily, weekly. Typically, it's something you do every 5 to 6 weeks, just so you're not aggravating your customers or training them to be coupon cutters or to just wait for the next special. But if things are slow, being able to send out a text blast to instantly boost basically your calendar or car count works very, very well. Again, text, we're basically recommending to do every 5 to 6 weeks. Email, you can do weekly. But again, the templates are always there. We're always sharing them with our customers. Next slide.
Greg, I have a question for you. Do you guys happen to know, do you know what the average cost of acquisition is for shops to gain a new customer retaining a customer is essentially very, very, it's pennies on the dollar probably compared to that. But just wondering if you guys had that market data, because I've talked to a lot of shop owners and they've told me some numbers. It's a pretty wide range, but you guys you have that data?
Andrew, do you have any data on that?
The best answer would be what PJ just said. It is such a wide range and there's so many factors that would go into it. And it depends on so most new customer acquisition, you could look at if you're doing it through Facebook, right? Or if you're doing it through email marketing, if you're doing it digitally, or if you're just doing it by trying to get customer referrals in. There's a bunch of mix to it, but so I can't really give a number. Like we just don't track that. And you talk to 100 shops in the country, they'll probably all have a number. But I will tell you, like the whole why behind our platform, and it's going even back to PJ's slides, is what Mechanic Advisor does is, so every shop on this call has a shop management system, right? You have a Tekmetric or another, but a third of you don't have a CRM platform. So why don't you? And honestly, the answer is you just don't yet, and you will. You're kind of like Netflix. I'm assuming you're all really good shops. You're kind of like Netflix in 2007 when you just sent out your 1 billionth DVD, and then they launched their streaming service. You guys are all going to evolve, and that's what we're helping. We're helping automate everything. And right now, you probably think you're fine doing it by pen and paper and doing your follow-ups. And yeah, you may be able to do that for another year or two, but all your other competitors and everybody in your market is going to start getting on these automated platforms, and it's just going to blow you away. And it's going to be really hard to kind of catch up. So just take Alan, understand what's happening. Yeah.
Alan kind of hit the nail on the head here too. Alan's currently his current new customer acquisition cost per new customer is $283. Used to be $414. So that falls right in line. I've heard people say as high as $500 and $600, but most of the time it's between $150 and $400. And you're right, Andrew. Every conference I go to, I ask people this because I'm very intrigued by, if you can create a good experience inside the shop, if you can remind them with a little bit of drip-feeding that you're still there and that you're there to help them whenever they need you. That's so much cheaper than going out and spending $414 or even $283 to go and get a new one. So $150, $400 is what I hear almost all the time. And, are they associating with those costs appropriately and so forth? But that does actually fall in line with what Alan just said. I don't know if you guys saw Jose's question was asking about, are there any reward programs or point platforms as a retention tool currently?
That is something that we don't do. We can target your best customers and do some highly targeted campaigns for like VIP customers, but we aren't doing any like point tracking. I believe BayIQ does that. That's one of the programs out there. I know that's something on our roadmap over the next couple of years to start adding, because it is something that is an ask.
You bring up a good point though too, Greg, because I'm not sure if Jose uses our software or not, but so if you can get those metrics, like the customer report, Tekmetric shows exactly what you just said. I can take every one of those customers, sort them by those that spend the most in dollars, those that I've made the highest gross profit on, those that I've had the most visits from, those that I haven't seen in 180 days, those that I have seen in the last 180 days, and sort through those. And if I remember correctly, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the information that you guys can also get, and I believe do some targeting for these customers as well.
Yep. So we have advanced filtering. So, and that is part of our job on the CS team when we're working with the shop, is to talk about different campaigns. So we'll do like lost customer campaigns. So customers who haven't been in over a year, who's actually spent a lot of money at the shop, who spent on average more than the other customers. So their ARO is over $300. They haven't been in over a year. And then if we're doing text blasts, we're typically weeding out the customers that spend, $15, $25 every visit. So we do have the advanced filtering.
State inspections and oil changes.
So, Yep.
I'm with you.
And PJ, to just hammer home what you said about the new customer acquisition, I'd say 150 is, if you're under $200, it's probably really, really good. But at least for most of the shops we deal with, like, their biggest problem is just not having the customers come back. So we really focus mainly on the customer retention, get that squared away, and then you can focus on the new customer, because that'll come just kind of organically. But so many shops are just leaving money on the table by not getting these second, third, fourth visits from these customers. So that's what we want to help you not lose, is these customers that already had a great experience and want to come back again.
Yeah, that's one of the data points we look at when we first think with the shop, is what are your new customers to repeat customer ratio.
Yep.
We're working with a group right now that literally had, when we synced up with their data, me and Andrew looked at it last week. We had a call with them. They had 800 new customers for like the year, and then they only had like 300 repeat customers.
Yeah.
Wow. The ratio is way off. So and again, they do a lot of oil changes, but we're trying to fix that for that shop. So that is
Mike asked a great question here. Does either Tekmetric or Mechanic Advisor allow an option to track lifetime value of customers by marketing source? I can tell you that yes, inside of Tekmetric we do. I'll let Greg speak for Mechanic Advisor, but absolutely, Mike. If you use Tekmetric, you can require. You can require that the marketing source is selected when an RO is started. We show you the difference in what was the marketing source that got the customer to come in the first time. What's the marketing source that got them to come in all the other times, right? They may have seen your billboard and that was what got them to stop in the first time. But then Greg and Mechanic Advisor sent some text e-blasts, right? And that got them to come back in the next time. With a little bit of coaching with your service advisors, they can absolutely, as long as they know the right questions to ask, right? Everybody says, I found you on Google. Really? You just typed in PJ's Repair Shop into Google for no reason. It just popped in your brain. And that's not true, right? I'm making light of it, but PJ's Repair Shop was brain because of my billboard, or because I sponsored their T-ball team, or because I sent them a direct mail piece. Google didn't send them to me. Google had my information listed. But teaching your service advisors to ask those types of questions will really help you dial in what's actually getting them to come in the door. And then from there, inside of Tekmetric, yes, we do show you, one, what brought the customer in originally, and two, what brought them in all subsequent times. And we also show your sales, your gross profit, your close ratios, and so forth. All after that, showing what those marketing sources did for you. So, Greg, I apologize that went long, but
no, it's all good.
That too?
No.
PJ, you guys have to manually choose those selections, right? So
you do have to select it. Yeah, when you're starting that repair order, Andrew, that's a good question. So when you're starting that repair order, there is a box down there, and you can make that a required field. The service advisor cannot start the repair order without selecting that field. Now, they could still put the wrong thing in there, but you can force them to put something in there.
So to answer the question on Mechanic Advisor side, just know anything that came from our platform, if it was a text, an email, or a mailer, it's automated and it'll automatically sync when we get that data from Tekmetric, bring it in. So that is an automated thing. You don't have to go in and manually do it. That's the only difference. But you're right. If they went on Google and typed in, I need an oil change, Chicago, Illinois, and then select PJ's shop, you would have to do that manually. So, but we do automate things that are from our platform.
Nice. Carlos, go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
I was going to say, and we're talking about the customer journey when that customer received the text message and read it, when they opened up the email, when they clicked on the email, when a piece of mail was actually delivered to their mailbox, when they came in, and with Tekmetric, we're looking, okay, when did the ticket close out? Exactly how much was it for? So we have all that detailed reporting. And then underneath the customer profile, we show them everything that we sent out to them that they came back in for service. So there's a lot of detailed reporting in there. That's just getting better and better.
Carlos is asking. Carlos is asking here: Are you guys able to filter reminders by categories like brakes, drivetrain, fluid services, and et cetera?
So right now we get the data from the manufacturer. We use motor, and then what we do is, so it's the interval. So we do an oil change interval, and it's based on them coming in, and the Tekmetric ticket says oil change. So we know that oil change interval starts that day. And then, if it's a Honda, it's 3,000 miles. We know that car 3,000 miles to remind that customer. We do maintenance, we do brakes and tires. So those are the only four for the recommended services. With some of the other RO programs we work with, we do pick up some of the service recommendations and can send those out. But that's when the technician or the service writer actually puts, okay, this guy needs to come in for this timing belt 6 months down the road. We can do that. But I believe that's something we're working with you guys on, with the detailed recommended services in the future. Yep.
And then we have Anthony. Anthony is asking, does Mechanic Advisor help obtain Google reviews?
Yep. So I was going to get to that at the end, just with new customer acquisition, but that's part of the customer journey with Tekmetric customers. So just to go over real quick, when the ticket closes out in Tekmetric, it comes over to Mechanic Advisor. We send a 2-day check-in, and again, it's just checking in with the customer, making sure everything was good with the vehicle. And then 5 days later, we'll send out the review request. We do it through email and text. And yes, so most of our Tekmetric shops, they're reporting anywhere from 15 to 20 Google reviews a month, which has been really good for our Tekmetric shops and helping new customers come through the door.
Nice.
Yep. Just getting back to the slides real quick, we kind of covered a lot right there, but this just gives you an idea of what the decline service reminder looks like. A really nice part of our Tekmetric integration is when that ticket does close out, if it's a new customer, but when we first do our integration with Tekmetric, every customer in their vehicle gets a vehicle profile page that looks like this on the screen. So the customer basically has a web page for their vehicle. Every single customer of their vehicle, they can access it at any time, get their past ticket history, and then also update their odometer. They can let the shop know that they don't own the vehicle anymore, but this is what the deferred services look like. So if there were high priority items that weren't done, they get reminded and they can request an appointment right there. This is all mobile friendly. So this looks really slick on your iPhone, on your Android, or on your computer. So they can book an appointment right here. What I like is request the appointment later. So basically now we're on that. So it's remind me later. So basically they put up a calendar. Now you're on that customer's calendar for when they need to get the reminder. So they might be waiting for like tax return to basically pay for it. So they can put in the date that they want to get reminded for it. Next slide. So we already talked about this detailed reporting. So again, we'll break down how many emails went out during a certain time period, how many text messages went out, how many pieces of mail went out, who came in, what did they spend. So this is where you can go in and kind of sort through a lot of this data to see exactly what Mechanic Advisor is doing for the shop, getting those customers back in the door.
How long does it take for this information to update? I mean, I can only speak for our system, but it's pretty much real time, isn't it?
Yep. So with Tekmetric, like I said, every 10 minutes, if the ticket's closed out and we know they came in from a text message, we're going to report it right away.
Nice.
Yep.
So hopefully if it was something that didn't work, I mean, not all of them, not every Hail Mary is going to land, but if you have something that didn't work, you can adjust from it very, very quickly. Or if you have something that works phenomenally, let's sink more into it same day.
Yep. And then the other thing too that we do is we let the shop say what's a Mechanic Advisor customer and what's not a Mechanic Advisor customer. So a lot of CRMs, and this is feedback I got from a lot of shops that I went out and talked to, they're like, a lot of CRMs like to give themselves a lot of credit. So when you look at that customer list, you can be like, dude, this guy's my next door neighbor. I knew he was going to come in and spend $2,000. That's not a Mechanic Advisor customer. Delete that. So we'll let shops take that off the report. So we already talked about Google reviews, but yeah, like I said, the two-step process, we A/B tested a lot of different ways to ask for Google reviews, and the way we're doing it today is the best. We first started out, we gave customers a bunch of options. So we're like, click here to leave a Yelp review, click here to leave a Google review, click here to leave like an Angie's List review. Too many options, customers will basically exit the page, or they're just like, I don't want to do this. So we kept it really short and concise, and we're doing a really good job of getting Google reviews for our Tekmetric shops.
Greg, let's say you get a new shop. How many new Google reviews would you, let's say they have 100 new customers a month. Like how many Google reviews are you seeing some of these shops?
I mean, yeah, if they're doing that, they'll probably see anywhere from 15 to 20. I mean, it's all about car count and how many customers are kind of going in and out of the shop. On the low side, I've seen 5 to 10. I've seen some shops that get like, I don't know, 30 to 40. But it all depends on what type of shop it is and what their car count looks like. What I've learned being in this industry for so long is just that no two shops run the same. So that's why, again, it's kind of hard to give a lot of the reporting because it depends on your demographic, how many customers come in. Are you a lube shop? Do you work on just BMWs? Everything's different between the shops. And then I could finish off with this. It kind of brings everything full circle. So another piece for getting new customers through the door, something new that we have is this chat widget. So if you see in the bottom right, hi there, our shop's open and ready to service your vehicle. So we have an interactive chat now for your website, and basically it connects to your text messaging platform. So if customers on your website, they have a question, you're all of a sudden immediately texting with that potential new customer, trying to get them through the door. Going back to PJ, kind of, being good at sales, I guess, with people asking questions. So if someone's asking about a brake job, hopefully, your service writer is good and can get that job through the door. So this tool works really well of capturing new customer data, getting them through. And then the last piece is scheduled service. A lot of our shops now use our scheduling widget button. So they can easily on their website schedule service and then request an appointment through Mechanic Advisor. And then soon with Tekmetric, we'll actually be able to, probably hopefully within the next 2 weeks, be able to send that appointment data to the Tekmetric calendar. And then we can send out the appointment reminder 24 hours before.
That's all being put together between our two teams now. So if they're booking an appointment on your shop's website, that's going to go both through Mechanic Advisor and push into your Tekmetric shop as well. Greg, you bring up one very, very good point that I always like to remind people. People will pay for consistency. So you're right. This industry has been a bit disjointed, right? Everybody kind of did it their own way. Their granddad taught them X, Y, Z, and that's fine. But for us, what we want to do is standardize that process because, I tell people you don't go to McDonald's because it's a phenomenal meal. It's a great experience, phenomenal customer service. You walk in there because you know what the French fries are going to taste like, the burger's going to taste like, and the Coke's going to be cold and it's going to be good. And you don't want to have to make a decision. You don't want to have to think about it. That is what people are willing to pay for. And it doesn't matter if it's Starbucks, if it's McDonald's, if it's buying a Porsche or buying a Bose stereo system or buying your vehicle repair services. People want consistency. So to Greg's point, where we can make that the vehicle owner's the buying experience consistent for those that own those vehicles, it just brings the entire industry up. Right? These aren't our granddad's cars that we're working on anymore. It takes a highly skilled and trained technician to work on them. Let's bring that level of experience up so that the customers are expecting that as well. Jose did just ask a question. Is there a feature to give quick estimates over the phone? Yes and no, Jose. I guess that would be more towards Tekmetric. Yes and no. The reason I say no, yes, you absolutely can give a quick quote over the phone. My question would always be, why would you want to, right? I mean, yes, you want to take in some customers' information. Let's at least take a phone number and customer's name so that we can at least save it for later, right? So that we can go back to it, so that we can actually market to that customer, right? Service advisors generally don't want to say that the customer told them no. I mean, if the customer picks up the phone, calls you and says, hey, how much is it for oil change, tire rotation, and X? And you give them all that information and you say, would you like to set an appointment on Tuesday or Thursday this week? We've got openings. Great. Thursday, would you like morning or afternoon? Afternoon, fantastic. I've got an appointment at 2 and at 4. Ian has heard me say these things very many times, but that is because those scripts work. Now, if the customer says no, Jose, that's my question for you. If the customer says no, how do you view that? Right? Would you like to save that for later, or is that pretty much a declined job? So now that gets passed over to somebody like Mechanic Advisor and that you can follow up on it, right? Or do you want to save that for later so that maybe when Mrs. Smith calls back in, you would have that job saved? For me, I'm always terrified of, I was very terrified of my service advisor, service managers talking to a customer, and they're probably talking to Joe Bob's shop down the street. And hey, how much are your oil changes for a semi-synthetic oil change and a tire rotation? And we're just giving them a price quote. I want to know at least the customer's name, the phone number. Let's build a quick quote. And Jose, to answer that question, finally, the new labor guide that we release tomorrow increases how fast those estimates can be built. I have personally done it. It's about 1/4 to 1/2 the amount of time to build a quote like that with our new labor guide. So hopefully that answers your question. But obviously my stance is always, let's take a little bit of information. Let's give them a real quote and say, hey, let me text you this quote right now, Mr. Customer. And then we've got a way to stay in touch with them. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. By the way, Andrew has posted a couple of links in the chat here. If you guys do want more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to help you guys. Just ask us questions. Anything that you see as best practices. This is all about bringing knowledge to the industry and telling you guys what we've seen others have success with. And if that helps your shop, that is the goal. Greg, did you have anything else on this slide here, sir?
No. Nope.
So that does pretty much wrap us up. Just as we've talked about, guys, just technology literally is your friend here, right? So don't be the blockbuster. Let's look for the right partner. Find someone that can actually help your business. Darren Jones said, thanks for sharing. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I am going to answer that question. How has the industry changed with COVID? I will bring that up in just a second. Actually, I've got some info on that. For us, think about how you're providing value to your customers. How are you creating a different experience than those that are just down the street from you? And like I said, technology is not a replacement for a good service advisor, right? So even if you're picking up and calling the phone to follow up, like what Mechanic Advisor is going to be doing, or if you're trying to sell a job that this vehicle needs to have performed on it, either one, technology can help that good service advisor. So I always tell people that there are two ways of saying things, right? And the shoe salesperson would never walk up to a lady's foot and say, ma'am, your foot is too fat for this shoe, right? You're never going to say that. You're going to get your teeth kicked out. What you would say is, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I just grabbed the wrong size shoe for your foot. And so there are two ways of saying everything, right? There's two ways of presenting everything. So use that technology to embrace that and be able to show your customers in a professional and clean manner of how you guys are going to be able to help them out. So there is some contact information for both Greg and I and Andrew, and also use those links there in the chat. There's a couple more questions that have popped up here. How do you convince customers to come in when they aren't using their vehicles? Now, that's a good question. I'll give my little take on it, and I'll let Greg touch on it. And then I will also answer the question about COVID. For me, vehicles, I mean, I change my oil in my vehicle every single, what is it, every 6 months, every 7 months, probably for me, no matter what. I don't drive very much. I work from home. So vehicles are deteriorating from day one. The fluids that are in those vehicles are deteriorating from day one. Now, that's not something that necessarily Tekmetric is going to be able to help with, because we're not trying to be a marketing company. But for me, what I would tell those customers is that your fluid doesn't suddenly get better and get stronger every single day that it ages. So, Greg, what about you guys? How do you help get them back in the door?
Yeah, so this kind of, I think, answers also the question we had around COVID, too. So a lot of people weren't driving their vehicles. Mechanic Advisor's platform helped out a lot of shops during COVID. I still have shops thanking us to this day for helping them get through like what I call the COVID dip that you'll see on this Tekmetric index. But a lot of it was just constant communication with the customer. Granted, they weren't driving their car every day or even driving their car at all, but it was important that we were sending out text blasts weekly to let customers know what was going on in the shop. So being able to send out a text blast within seconds helped out shops tremendously during COVID to let them know what were the new procedures in place, were they open, if they did have to close for a week, stuff like that. But also on top of it, sending over educational information like, hey, you should probably start your car, or you should drive it around for at least 4 to 5 miles to get the fluids going, stuff like that. So you could still, if customers aren't driving their cars frequently, you could still give them educational information that'll be valuable to them. They'll look at you like you're more valuable resource, and obviously that's going to create more customer loyalty. So that's why I saw a lot of shops using this platform with customers that weren't driving their vehicles around a lot during COVID. And the other thing too is Mechanic Advisor, we can adjust the service intervals in the background. So we had a lot of shops that, they typically want to see their customers every, 4 months, 4,000 miles. We adjusted it out to 6,000 miles, 6 months. So there were ways that we can actually tweak the backgrounds for when those service reminders go out based on what's going on in the environment.
So to answer the COVID question, you guys, this is a public website. Just Google the Tekmetric 500 or the TM 500, a little play on words from the S&P 500. This right here, so what we did was we chose 500 shops that are using Tekmetric across the country that have written at least 1,000 repair orders or more. We only wanted to have seasoned veterans pulling data from them. And as you can see here, the car count took a big hit in March and April. We saw that car count come down. Now this is by month, so that
you got to go back, PJ.
Go back
last 12 months. Yeah, you're on April at the beginning. Go back a few more months.
It will go back. Well, Let me see. I'll have to do a custom query. So out of sake of time, I was trying to.
Oh, my bad. I'm
keep
sorry.
it here. But March also saw a dip. Just because we're in March now, so it's showing the last rolling 12 months. But as you can see here, we did take a dip. It was even larger in March. So we had a big dip in March. Started coming up in April, then May. And then back up around June and July. We held pretty steady with some dips here. One thing that did hold pretty steady, which oddly enough was the average repair order, and it's even increased a little bit here of recent. Now, this is the exact same 500 shops that we've been monitoring for a full year now. And as you guys can see, the average repair order of the Tekmetric 500 index is a little more, around $450 per repair order that they write. And if you see down here, if you guys are ever curious, if you want to know how your shops are doing, I don't know where all these shops are that have joined us today. You can hover your mouse over this. If you're on the West Coast, here's what the car count was yesterday. There were 13 cars. If you want to look at, look at last week. There were 86 cars last week on the West Coast, 86 was the average on the West Coast. They had 49 in Central. We had 105. And so if you're wondering what your car count is or what your average repair order is. So yesterday, the average repair order, Monday's one of the lowest days, was $353. If you want to look at the average repair order for last week, probably around $450 is where it hovers. West Coast tends to be pretty high, $158. Central US is hovering around $400. So if you guys are ever curious, just take a look at this. You can change the date ranges just like I did. This is real-time data of 500 shops that are using Tekmetric. Let's see, I got 2 questions here. If we change to Tekmetric, do we get a discount with Mechanic Advisor? And are there any contracts with Mechanic Advisor? I can speak to ours. We do not have any contracts. Discounts or anything. I haven't even talked about this, but I can get creative with just about anything, Amanda. So
same here.
Yeah.
No contracts with Mechanic Advisor either.
Greg, did you see Carlos' question? In order to increase car count when needed, do you have text templates to choose from? And can you choose customers, A, B, and C customers?
Yep. So we typically have about 6 or 7 text templates to choose from that are updated constantly every 3 to 4 weeks. So right now we have all of our March templates in place. So a lot of stuff around spring, getting your car ready for spring, road trips, St. Patty's Day, stuff like that. So we have them all built out, and then we have your lists built out. So again, what we were talking about earlier was targeting specific customers. Well, we have lost customer lists. We have customers that spend a lot of money, your top loyal customers. So we can break out those lists and target those customers.
Nice.
So yes and yes for Carlos.
Hey, Greg, somebody asked about Kukui too. Do you want to just give a quick 30 seconds how we vary from?
So Kukui is a great platform. They do website as well as CRM, which we do not do, but we have some great website partners that we refer to. With Kukui, I think they have a great product. They do website, they do CRM. I think the beauty of Mechanic Advisor is we solely focus on CRM. So a lot of customers that might have came over from Kukui to Mechanic Advisor really do like the ease of our platform and the fact that, we solely work on a CRM and I'd say have probably the best CRM in the marketplace. I mean, being a little biased, but yeah, I think that we just solely focus on CRM makes our CRM pretty powerful.
If you guys have any additional questions, we did go 5 minutes over here. We got one more question here. What makes the best CRM? This is recorded, so I'll be able to send this out if you guys want to share this with any of your team members. I
can answer that real quick.
Best CRM, Greg.
All right. So I would just say ease of use. So being user friendly. The other piece that we get a lot of good feedback on is having live support. So if you do get stuck on templates or have questions about, what maybe other shops in Canada are doing to boost car count, we answer those questions immediately. So if you go to Mechanic Advisor and read our Google reviews, if you just Google mechanicadvisor.com, you'll hear it directly from our customers live right there.
And transparency is huge. Like every customer you could search, you could see their history, you could see every email they've gotten, every text, exactly what text they're about to get, what emails they're about to get, what queues they're in. Are they a new customer? Are they a repeat customer? What journey do you have them going on? Like transparency is huge. Like some CRMs kind of just clump everyone together and just you're crossing your fingers that they're going to get what you want them to get. But we've really built it in a way where you could kind of make sure you understand the journey of all your different, customer segments. And you could really kind of, you can pull people out, add them to things and what campaigns are working, what aren't. So you can kind of tweak and keep growing.
And our reporting is very honest too. Like I said, if your next door neighbor comes in, we don't want to take credit for that job.
And we connect with the best SMS on the market.
Oh yeah.
So seriously, these directions and make your lives easier. Like there are some shop management systems out there. I'm not going to name any. It's like you might as well be using a pen and pad of paper, and they don't connect to anything. We get their data once every day. If lucky, we get it overnight. Right. Who knows if the data is good? They put their invoices are all over the place. They label things goofy. So we are as good as the data that we get.
Correct.
Just like how Tekmetric, they're as good as what you guys put into it. So that is an important thing. True. If you go with one of us, you need to invest the time, do the onboardings, learn the training, and master how this works for your shop. Because if you're just going to get something and think it's just going to turn on and work for you, you do need to put in a little diligence, but it'll pay for itself within a month for a year. That's how good both products will be.
Yeah, and both companies, I think the reason why we work so well together too is we both have the same view on customer service, customer success, training, stuff like that. So I think that's a lot of the positive feedback we get from our mutual customers is how fast we are to get back to customers, how we do train customers. It's not one and done training. We're here to help you throughout, obviously if you're paying month to month, we're here to support you.
Yeah, we have
got to re-earn their business every month. So no different than every car that comes to the door of the repair shop. You got to re-earn their business every time they come in. So we're with you. We have live support currently 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central. We have live chat, email, and phone. Yep. And very, very rarely is there any hold time. If there is, it's usually just a minute or two. And even if you leave a message, we usually call back in just a few minutes. So, it's we agree because that support is huge in all of this, and we only 2% of our customers that sign up for Tekmetric ever leave. So, 98% of our customers are staying with us, and they have no contract to stay. So, with that being said, we'll wrap up. Let everybody sync up. Please do not hesitate to use those email addresses that we sent you. Use the links. Scroll up there above. We can also do a quick follow up and shoot those out to you in an email. Just let us know how we can help your business. Do not hesitate to ask any one of us a question. Reach out to our teams. If you don't receive the help that you need, please reach out to us and tell us, because we want you guys to be able to get the answers to your questions. So with that being said, thank you all so much for joining. We really do appreciate it. Jose, thank you so much for the kind words. Jose says thank you as well. So thank you all for joining us. We'll be doing these much more often. So look out for new webinars in the future. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and to share it with the rest of your team. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would like to see more helpful videos for auto repair shops. Have a wonderful day.